For the eradication of dukkha, bodily pain, domanassa, grief. These are the Pali words. Now if you go back and photostat the books out, there is on the left hand side Pali, on the right hand side English, and then you can compare the Pali and the English. Sometimes it is not so accurate, so I have revised. So you find that when I use the Pali and English, sometimes I have a different meaning from this book, because I've gone to more books, research on more books, and I sort of find the more appropriate usage of the words. Now we're talking about eradication of bodily and mental pain. Now these are the two types of pain that we experience all the time. Bodily pain and the mental pain. Of course, you know what bodily pain is. When you are cut by a strong object, when blood comes out, bodily pain. When you have headaches, strong headaches, when you have strong stomach ache, a lot of wind in your stomach, you experience a lot of body pain. People who have the cancers, they have very strong internal pain. That means the pain arises inside our body parts. So we experience a lot of pain, bodily pain. And it affects the mind. Mind and body, they are interdependent. When the body feels the pain, if we are not mindful, our mind feels the pain. And when our mind feels the pain, and if we are not mindful, our body feels the pain. They are interdependent. Body feels the pain means that if you have stomach ache, then the mind starts to cry. Say, "Ayo, so painful, I'm going to die, surely I will die." And that is the mind pain. First the body pain, then the mind pain. It is like you have been shot twice by the arrow. One time in your stomach, the next one in your mind. So you are experiencing two pain, body pain and mind pain. But if you are mindful, you only experience body pain, but you don't experience mind pain. But how can that be? If you meditate, you will know. Once you start meditating, you could experience in meditation itself different type of body pain. But as you watch the body pain, sensation, and as you watch it, as you detach the feeling as an object, you find that the mind do not feel the pain. The mind just note the pain, as if the pain is not yours. It is just a pain. When the mind is detached, observing, bear attention, with mindfulness, then the body do not affect the mind. It is strange, but it is true. Those meditators will tell you that it is true. They have experienced that. There are so many types of pain, painful feeling that you can experience in meditation. Such as, you could experience hot burning pain. When the pain, you feel like fire burning, very hot pain, numbness pain, tension pain, feel until your whole body is so tense up. It's painful. You could feel twisting pain. Yes, the pain is like somebody twist, pulling your leg or pulling your arms or your back or your neck. Yeah, twisting pain. Jumping pain. Have you heard of a jumping pain? It's painful until your pain like jumping up and down. Plop, 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 plop. You have known of a jumping heart but not a jumping pain. Yes, in meditation you experience very strange, various type of things that you're not aware of. Then probably you have piercing pain that you will know. Something sharp and cuts into you. And there is this special one that I heard, a floating pain. Do you know what a floating pain is? Pain that float. It's strange, but it is true. There are some meditators who meditate until the whole leg becomes numb. There's no more leg left. Cannot feel the leg anymore, and yet they feel the pain. Very strange. So normally we say, "Ayo, my leg so pain," or "my toe so pain." You still feel your toe there. Now there is no more toe, no more concept of leg, and yet the pain still there, and it's floating. It's painful, but the mind is not painful. The body is painful, but not the mind. And of course, poking pain and just unbearable pain. Yeah, you experience that when you meditate. And only when you meditate, you sit and you practice, that you face the pain and overcome the pain. If you don't meditate, you will always run away from the pain. Because our mind is very scared of pain. A little bit of pain, we can't stand it. Only in meditation that you come face to face with the pain and you deal with the pain. You look at the pain as just pain. You separate the mind from the object until the object no longer influences your mind. Now that is part of our meditation. That we train the mind so strong that even our body pain do not affect the mind. And if you have come to that, external object become like child play. When people scold at you, shout at you, it's just like wind only, wind element. But a lot of people feel very painful with this wind element. Why? Because they have grasped the object in the mind, the concept in the mind, that he scolded me, he criticized me, he has wronged me. Concept. So they have catched the concept in the mind. And so the mind becomes very disturbed. But when we practice meditation, we learn to see things as they really are. So we know the difference between what is concept, what is reality. Concept is just somebody say, you are lousy. But that's what he thinks. Other people will say you are very good. One say you are so ugly, but your loved one say you're most beautiful in the whole world. It's just a concept. You know that it is just a concept. It's just a concept. Now the practice of mindfulness, as you practice, you gain a lot of wisdom, of able to understand what is concept, that is conceptual reality, and what is the ultimate reality. You know the difference. And when you are able to bring your mind to a higher level, then you are not disturbed by the lower level. But if your mind is not bring up to a higher level, and your mind is always trapped in concept, forever you'll be hurt by what people say, because you can't understand the difference between what is concept and what is reality. You will think that it is nothing much, just sit there, rising, falling. But a lot of things starts to develop as you sit there and watch the rising and falling. Your patience, mindfulness, concentration, energy, the wisdom develop just by sitting there. It is not doing nothing. Sometimes people think meditation is sleeping. So sleeping is meditation. It is not so. When you meditate, your mind is very active and clear. But when you meditate and start to snore, then you are sleeping. That is called sleeping in sitting position. Yeah, that is different. No longer meditating, that is really sleeping. But if you are really meditating, mind is very clear. There's always everything that arises, the mind knows. Very important, the knowing. Rising and falling. Sit rising, stops. Sit falling, stops. Rising, stops. Then thinking, the mind is thinking of what? Thinking of the house, thinking of the keys, thinking of the children, thinking of your unfinished work. You know, mind is thinking. Then come back, rising and falling. And then when the feeling is painful or itchy, then you know it is an itchy feeling. Don't go and scratch it, because it's a good object for meditation. Practice your detachment. Object is very strong. Feeling object is very strong. Bear attention. Just watch it. And you find that whatever arises will surely cease. That's what the Buddha says. All that is compounded will pass away. Whether it is pleasurable feeling from the body or it is painful feeling from the body, by itself, the nature of the characteristics of this whole universe, this whole world, it arises and it passes away. And by just watching it, it arises and passes away. And the mind is unaffected by this arising and pass away. Otherwise, if we do not know this truth, experience this truth, that when things pass away, we fall into a lot of sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, despair. There are people whose loved one pass away, and the next day they follow suit, they also pass away, because they couldn't bear the pain of separation, couldn't accept the truth that their loved one passed away. But it is the nature of things that comes to be, will surely pass away. It is this state of mind that prevent the sorrow from arising. The wisdom. This is what we are developing in this mindfulness meditation that is different from the concentration mindfulness. The concentration have psychic powers. They can fly, they can see past life, they can do a lot of things, but they cannot compare with the psychic power of wisdom. Psychic power of wisdom overcomes all suffering. That one cannot overcome suffering. That one is a manifestation of psychic powers. So the Buddha said the greatest psychic power of all, psychic powers of enlightenment, awakening of wisdom. What is mental grief? Well, if our body is not well, if we are sick, affects our mind, then we have ill will, displeasure, we have anxieties. Sometimes people have a lot of anxiety. A little bit of pain here, they think, better go and check, don't know cancer or not. Then I see a doctor say, okay, nothing wrong. And then they go back. And then now the pain go to the back. I better to see doctor or not, cancer. Then after that, it goes to the stomach. Better see doctor or not. So forever, he think he got cancer. So anxiety, because a bit of pain, it produces anxiety, affects the mind. So if you're a meditator, you just note it, pain as pain, and see whether it is a normal pain, whether you eat too much, indigestion, or is it a really real pain. You're able to differentiate with mindfulness. So it affects misery, sadness, fear. So the body affects the mind in many, many ways. So sometimes even when we work too hard, especially the ladies, work non-stop from morning to night, and so they keep scolding their husband for no reason. The husband come back and got an atom bomb. Why? Because they suffer a lot. The whole day work and work and work non-stop. So when the body feels the pain, feels a lot of stress, so the mind also feels the pain. And so when the mind feels the pain, then you know what happened. You also want to fire somebody's mind to make it pain. So mindfulness will note time to rest. Okay, after you go marketing, you come back, clean up the food, you still have time, then sit 5 minutes, 10 minutes, rising, falling, rising, falling. Have time in between to rest the body. If the body constant working without stopping, it cause a lot of tension and a lot of pain to the body. They cause a lot of pain to the mind. They are interdependent. So if you have mindfulness, if you're aware of it, then it does not cause mental pain. Right? Now then, when we talk about mindfulness of healing the pain, it do works. Meditators generally are more healthy. There are cases where a lot of diseases, different type of diseases are overcome by meditation. We'll continue later, all right?